Alright, y'all. I'm back with another one. I did a couple of research, you know what I'm saying? And they put on this video, this like part 2 of me telling you about the story about Emmett and the women in the movement on the show on Hulu. So this part 2 of what I was saying. I did a couple of research after I did the first video, and I'm pretty much looking into this because I want to know. Like I said, I've been knowing since junior high, what they done to him, how he was brutally murdered by these two white men, and I want to know, was they still living? And I know that Roy Bryant, one of the two white men, he passed in 1994, and he got married for the second time to somebody else. He divorced. The first wife was Carolyn, what's her name, Bryant, and she is like 80-something years old. But in this video, I don't know when this video was put out. It don't say the year, but in this video, they two kids that was that they showed in the show and in the videos, they had two sons. Roy Bryant and his first wife, Carolyn Bryant. They had two sons. They find her. This she older, and this one she like 80-something years old. They find her in this video, and they try to talk to her, but she wouldn't come out. She ain't talking about the case. So I'm thinking this in like the early 90s or the early 2000s. If she that old, this got to be in the early 90s or the early 2000s, because they murdered him back in 1955. Roy Bryant and his uncle. I'm guessing this his uncle, the second guy. I'm guessing this Roy uncle. But yeah. So in 1955, she looked like she was 30-something years old. Let's fast forward it. 90s and the early 2000s, they said she like 80-something years old, and her son came out. One of out of their two sons, one of them came out. He was sitting in the truck, and he pretty much saying that she ain't gonna talk about the case about Emmett Till and this and that. Hold on, listen.
Moments later, her son Frank Bryant arrived, and we tried to talk to him.
Can we talk to Mrs. Dunham?
Can't talk to me.
Can I tell you get her to come out?
No.
That's Frank Bryant, his son, Roy Bryant's son. And he like, they want to talk to Carolyn Bryant. I think that's her name, Caroline, something, Bryant. But she wouldn't come out. They knocked on her door and she wouldn't come out. So they trying to keep her safe, because even after 67 years of this going on, they still trying to keep her safe. But they saying that she lied about what happened, that all he did was whistle to her when he came out. But she told the police back in 1955, that he was looking dead at her and it was talking to her. Like, that's crazy.
I have some questions I'd like to ask her about Emmett Till. Sorry?
Because like I said before, back in them days, black people couldn't look face to face at a white person. That's, they say a black person got to look down when a white person come around back in those days. That's why I told y'all in my first video, I couldn't have been living back in them days. They would have been took me out, because you was not finna have control over me like that. No, I couldn't have been living back in those days. I would have been long gone.
I thought you get her to come out?
No.
I have some questions I'd like to ask her about Emmett Till.
Good.
Sorry?
Two days.
Will she come out and talk to us?
What I just tell you? Tell me again.
What I just tell you, yeah, he sound like one of those. Y'all get the picture. Y'all get the picture. I'm pretty sure with they saying, and see, Carolyn, she divorced him, but she also said he abused her, he controlled her. That Roy Bryant abused her and controlled her. And I'm pretty sure he taught his sons before he passed in 1994, before he passed and with his sons being look like he about 40 something in his mid 50s or something. You know, his son. I'm pretty sure he taught his sons not to be around black people, not to make friends with black people, not to hang around black people, to pretty much hate black people. Because that's how Roy was raised. I'm just being real.
No,
She won't.
no. Back.
I'm back.
I said goodbye.
Goodbye. You leaving?
I'm going.
We called the house later in the day, and neither Frank Bryant nor his mother Carolyn would discuss the Emmett Till case any further.
See, that's how she looked back then. Go a little further. That's how she look now. Well, in the early 2000s, I don't even know if she's still alive. I don't even know how long ago was this video put out. But I'm thinking right there she was in her 80s. So, but the moral of the story is, you saying all those years ago, you just coming out with in the early 90s, in the early 2000s, that you lied about what lied on your statement about what did. If they asking you, did Emmett Till say something to you? You said yeah, and then now you changing your mind, saying you don't really remember it, that he didn't say nothing to you, that all he did was whistle to you. Why you didn't just tell the police that when they asked you back in 1955? And then on top of that, you told your husband that he was saying this and that. So she's the reason what they went and found Emmett Till and brutally murdered him because of what she told her husband. As simple as that. I'm just being real. She's the reason. She is the reason. It all started with her. It all started with her. Yeah, now you can definitely tell that's her. Because if you look at her younger picture right there, and you just look at the eyes, that's definitely her. And see, they try to keep her in protective custody even after all these years. It's a big case. When they done that, it went national. It went, like they say nowadays, it went viral. Well, back then it went viral. Everybody know what these two white men done to that 14-year-old black boy. And they were still found not guilty. Not guilty. Even when Roy admitted that he kidnapped him, he told the police he kidnapped the boy, but he let him go. Yeah, I kidnapped the boy, but I let him go. But you know what I think his uncle shot Emmett because he was found with a bullet to the forehead. And face, you couldn't even recognize it. Couldn't even tell that they were Emmett Till. Because, like I said, he was found in the river. Face unrecognizable. Only way they knew it was him because he had his father military ring on. I think Roy's uncle did that because as I'm looking, you can tell when a person hesitate. It looked like Roy hesitate to do the job, I think all Roy wanted to do was just probably whoop him and beat him a little bit and then let him go. But Roy's uncle, he wanted to do more. But still, yet and still, that's a 14-year-old boy. All by what this woman said. Oh, he whistled at me. Whistled at you? And y'all brutally murdered him? Yes, I'm saying y'all because even though Roy had a guilty conscience, you still was a part of that. you went and you went with your uncle to Emmett's uncle house. You and your uncle went to Emmett's uncle house and kidnapped him. So I'm saying both of y'all. You knew what was going on. You knew what happened. You witnessed what happened. You probably even helped threw him in the river. So yes, I'm saying both of y'all, even though I can tell from the video and stuff that Roy had a guilty conscience. Well, you should have let him go if you so had a fucking guilty conscience. You should have let him go. But instead, even if you didn't do nothing, you still watched. You still watched. So you know everything that happened to Emmett. Yeah, this the older PC. She ain't living that secret if she on Facebook. If this woman's still alive, and I still don't have no guilty, you know what I'm saying? No, they should get this and they eye for an eye. What they did, yes, what they did to that boy was hell of a wrong. An eye for an eye don't work like that. God handles it. God handles it. God seen what those two white men done to him. He seen it. And he knew how to handle those two white men. That's evil. When you do that for no reason, off of a whistle, you ain't God. See, that's what back in the day white people thought. Yeah, if you don't have the same skin color as us, you gotta look down and don't look us in the eye. That's what white people thought back in those days, especially racist. Now, and in the South of Mississippi, because this is where it happened, Mississippi, it was most definitely racist going on. And all across the America, it was slavery and stuff, but it was mainly in the South. So yeah, God handled them. And both of them gone. I thought they were still alive. I knew they would be older in their 90s, in their late 80s. So I thought I had to look them up, but both of them gone. Both of the white men, they done that. Both of them are gone. God's handled it. He let them live for years after that. Like Roy Bryant, he passed away in 1994. He passed away when that happened in 1955. He passed away like 40, 30 some years after that happened. So he get to live, get to watch his two sons grow up. He get to live on. So do the uncle. But the uncle passed away. I'm gonna go to that video. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to that video. If I can find it. Where is it at? Here you go. This is Roy Bryant grave site. This was made back on August 27, 2020. That's when they posted. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody curious. Even though this happened over 60, 70 years ago, it still was viral when they done that to that, to Emmett, And it's still going on because it's a show that just came out this month about like Emmett's life and with he's got his mother in it explaining what happened. Like I said, they was found not guilty after Roy admitted that he kidnapped Emmett that night, but he was found not guilty. All 12 other juries was white. They was in Mississippi when they went down. When it went down, they was in their court. Cause see, Emmett actually lives in Chicago. He was, like I say, he was visiting his cousins. He was staying with his cousins for vacation.
And many of the black folks in the area, money, didn't want to work for any plantation owners right there. A lot of them moved down out of town to the surrounding areas, and this murder is one of the reasons why people just left that town. And it's just a very desolate town. And the plantation owners of that area had to overpay white workers quite a lot in those days too to pick the soybeans and the cotton, the jobs that.
See, after they found not guilty, every black person left that town. Because they didn't want to work for, any white people there. They left. They moved somewhere else. A lot of black people left there. So the white people had to pick up their slack and do their work. And they had to pay, the people had to pay them more.
People stopped going to that store and it quickly went out of business.
It quickly went out of business. They store that the Carolyn were working at, Carolyn, whatever her name is, Brian, that said Emmett whistled at her, that told her husband that. After the trial that they found not guilty, the place quickly closed because wasn't nobody going there. They wasn't making any money. Their business was going down.
After the court case, when he was found innocent, people stopped going to that store and it quickly went out of business. And many of the black folks in the area, money, didn't want to work for any plantation owners right there. A lot of them moved down out of town to the surrounding areas, and this murder is one of the reasons why people just left that town. And it's just a very desolate town. And the plantation owners of that area had to overpay white workers quite a lot in those days too to pick the soybeans and the cotton, the jobs that normally black folks did. Well, hey, payable on death. You tortured that kid for nothing at all.
He said, hey, you belong dead. Facts. I'm just being real. What goes around comes around. When you do evil, you get your karma, and you meet your judgment day. You had no reason to kill that boy, but you did it anyway. And see, this Roy, he was the one with the guilty conscience. If you didn't do it, you witnessed it. So you might as well say you done it. If your uncle did it, and his uncle is named J.W. Millen or something like that, and you pretty much watched your uncle shoot him in the forehead. For one thing, torture him, because after y'all kidnapped him, y'all took him to a shed and tortured him before whichever one of y'all shot him in the head and then threw him in the river. So yeah, you meet your karma.
Goes around, comes around.
Yep.
Best believe. Okay, so we're going to visit the grave of J.W. He is about 35-40 miles from here, so we're going to go hit the road and I'll show you his grave as well. And here we are, 42 miles away in Greenville, Mississippi. We're at the Green Lawn Cemetery. I'm standing in the shade. It is about 97 degrees, very humid and hot, muggy over here. And according to the information available on the internet, his grave should be right somewhere within the next 100 feet. We're approaching the grave of J.W. Milam. He was the older half brother of.
The older half brother. Okay, that one your uncle. That was your. I had something in my teeth. That was your older half brother. Okay.
100 feet. We're approaching the grave of J.W.
It was either your uncle or your brother. Said one of
He
them.
was the older half brother of Roy Bryant. And let's not forget, these two men admitted to murdering Emmett Till.
They even admitted it. How is you found guilty when you even admitted? This is the same. Pretty much, we repeating the same cycle. The only thing is, we got cameras now. We got technologies out. So when you say, "Oh, he didn't do it," this cop didn't do this. The video right here. What you mean he didn't do it? That's the only difference nowadays.
Not sure which one was Bryant. And let's not forget, these two men admitted to murdering Emmett Till. Not sure which one was the trigger man who actually pulled it, but it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
There isn't anybody involved with them, as far as I'm concerned. Here is the flowerless
What they say, 19,
grave of John W.
1990.
Milam, February 18th, 1919 to December 31st, 1980.
Oh, he died in 1980.
Both of those guys didn't live very long. They both died in their early 60s. As you can see, the grass around him is dead.
They ain't even taking care of his grave site. But like he said, most of them didn't live very long. They died in their early 60s. Both of them. Both of them. They didn't live very long. They died in their early 60s. See how that work? You don't have to do an eye for an eye and get revenge, because God sees everything. You're not going to live a good life when you do evil. Evil to somebody else that does. And even if a person do deserve it, you don't have that right to get revenge. Nowadays people take, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take it in my own hands to do this and that." This boy didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. A boy, not a man. People, it's rumors going around. Oh, back then they were saying he was a man. He's 14 years old. Man, he's still a child. But like I say, God works in mysterious ways. And he sees everything. I bet they didn't even live a good life after that. Wonder how their life went after the trial, after they were found not guilty. Wonder how their life went. His Roy's wife divorced him. And she said she divorced him because he was beating on her, controlling her. So he married again. We just seen his gravesite where he was, because he was next to his second wife. Not his first wife, his second wife. I believe his first wife either passed away about 2-3 years ago, or she's still alive, because they keeping her under police custody. Because this is a still going, a very public, still going on case, because they were found not guilty, and to this day they still not guilty, even after they admitted it. And Roy said he told the police, "Yeah, I kidnapped Emmett that night, put him in the back of my truck and drove off with him." And he told the police that. What more do you need? When I'm sitting here, and then they said, "Yeah, we killed him." Not guilty. They telling you, we killed him. 12 white juries found them not guilty. They went to trial in Mississippi. where Roy and his half brother is from, where they live, where this happened. Now maybe if they went to trial in another state, it would have been a different situation. You know what I'm saying? But in Mississippi back then, if you wasn't white, you don't have nothing to say. Back then in Mississippi. Let that happen nowadays. Oh, you gonna life, death penalty. Cause it's too much. Like I say, technology. Back then it wasn't no technology. It wasn't, they didn't have the FBI, the stuff they need to have and they probably didn't even have the evidence. But these two white men telling you that they brutally killed him, and Roy, the one of the white dudes, said that he kidnapped him that night. He telling the chief of police, that he kidnapped him that night. And they asked the chief of police, what did you do when he tell you that? I arrested him, and he was out then the next day. Whew. Breathe, nice and breathe.
Not even the grass likes you. It's funny how it's green everywhere else. According to the published article in Look magazine, which both of the brothers were paid a little over $3,000 to readily admit that they killed him, they said that their intentions were to just scare him, but that he was talking back to them during the meeting.
They were paid over $3,000 to admit that they killed him. So if we give you this money, you gonna admit to it? Back then, $3,000 back in 1955. $3,000 is a lot of money. You can go do a lot with $3,000 back then, back in 1955. So they said they wasn't trying to kill him, but he was doing a lot of talking while they were torturing him and beating him. What the fuck you expect a 14-year-old do? You out there, you beating him, you torturing him, you probably cutting him and stabbing him in his chest and other places, and you got him in the shed, hemmed up, tied up, and you just torturing him. What you supposed to expect for him to be quiet while you torture him? What type of Lord?
Really, that's all there is to say, because this guy's not, hey, at the end of the day, payable on death. This guy even looks evil.
Oh, yeah. Both of them do. But with Roy, you can see it's a guilty conscience. But with JW, whatever the fuck his name is, he look evil. Facts.
You're all by yourself. You don't got really many neighbors here.
Don't got nobody besides you.
And, hey, wherever you're at right now, whatever it is, if you're conscious, not conscious, I don't know. But every dog has his day.
Yep.
And this man definitely died a scoundrel, a murderer. And I hope this guy was not able to go in public without people harassing and bothering and vexing, annoying him. It's one thing if he went to prison and did time for what he did and got out and he served his time, but this guy, he didn't serve his time. He didn't pay for what he did. Neither him nor Roy. And not sure if that other Milam over there could have been this guy's sister or Roy's mother. I'm not sure. But anyways, you're by yourself, kid. All right, I'm out of here. Live but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. Guys, thank you for watching my video.
That's crazy. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Sad situation. Sad. They get to live their life, but you took a 14-year-old boy life. But like I say, God's watching, and karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. They both of them got exactly where it was coming to them, death, and they will rot in hell for the rest of their life. Simple as that. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And the reason why I did a part 2 is because I looked after I got done with the first video. I wanted to look into it more. Cause like I say, I'm still watching the Women of Movement on Hulu. Every episode I'm watching, I get curious. You know, what happened. I want to go back into that moment. You know, with these people found not guilty and then get to live on with their life. That's not fucking fair at all. They should have went to prison. They should at least got 10 or 15 years each. Some type of jail sentence, a prison sentence, any fucking thing. They not guilty, even after they admitted to it. When they first started the investigation of Emmett Till going missing, Roy went to the police station and talked to the sheriff and said he kidnapped Emmett Till. That's when nowadays, when something like that happened to a 14-year-old nowadays in the 21st century, and somebody just go to, yeah, I kidnapped him that day, that night, but I let him go. Automatically you getting arrested because you have something to do with his murder. Nowadays, but back days in the Mississippi life, back in the day, back in 1955, just because Roy was white, they looked over. Oh, it'll be okay, buddy. We'll get your statement and you just go on with your life. Fucked up boy. And you know what? The sad situation, we still going through this shit. We still going through this shit. Yeah, it's a little bit different because we got the technology and stuff like that. But this shit, this is a repeating cycle. You understand what I'm saying? This is a repeating cycle. And it won't stop until we come together as one and realize when we bleed is red, we are all human. White, black, anyway, Chinese, Mexican, Indian, African, we are all human. Until we realize that, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. I'm telling you. You gotta wake up, world. Wake the fuck up. I'm woke. I'm one of the woke ones. Trust and believe that. You will not own me. You will not slave me. If that shit was still going on to this day, I'd be dead. That black person gotta look down when a white person walks towards them, I would have been dead. I wouldn't be making y'all these videos. No Smokey J channel, no nothing. Cause I'm not finna let some another human, control me. You got me fucked up. Take me. Blow my fucking brains out. Cause that's the only way you not having control. Take me. Blow it out. You gonna have to go and take me out. Cause I'm not listening to what you have to say. I'm gonna go by my own rules. I'm gonna do whatever I please, not go by your rules. That's why I say I couldn't have been living back in those days. Cause I would have been long gone. Black people got killed for not saying yes or no to a white person. Yeah. Yeah. But a lot haven't changed. And a lot of this stuff that happened back in the day, back in 1955, it's still going on 60 or 70 years later. It's still going on. It's going to be up to us whether we make a change or not. On that note, I'm out, y'all.